Hello guys, so now let's do the practice quiz guys of chapter 5. So follow along guys. I hope you saw the other video of showing you how to get started or how pre-algebra works. So we start with problem number 1. In this example it says a plus 11.6 equals 21.4. Your a is your variable. Leave it alone, no problem. So the 11.6 is adding, it's on the left side, so your goal is to move it to the right side. So a equals 21.4 minus 11.6, and that's how you have to solve that solution. So if you want to show your work, go for it. So 14 minus 6 would be 8, we borrow. So our answer should be a equals 9.8. That's it. That's how you solve it. Number 2, we have 5x minus 7 equals 9. So we have two numbers. Start with the ones that are adding or subtracting, and then we'll go to multiplication or division. So the 7 is subtracting. What would be the opposite? To add. So we'll move it to the other side. So 5x equals 9 plus 7, which should be 16. Next step, what is the 5 doing? Multiplying. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Yes, you got it, you divide. And there you go, that's your answer. You could also write it as a decimal form. Well, you would have to divide 16 divided by 5, 3, 15, remainder 1, a 0. So 3.2. Either you could write it like a fraction format or a decimal notation. I don't care. Well, look at your multiple choice and you understand which ones to do. Number 3, we have r, that's our variable, divided by 4 equals 16. So what's the 4 doing? Dividing. So what would be the opposite? Multiplying. There you go. So r equals 16 times 4. And that will give you your solution. 4 times 6, 24. We carry a 2. 4 times 1, 4. Plus 2, 6. So r equals 64. See guys, they're not that hard. You could do this. Number 4, we have c divided by 7 minus 2 equals 4. So the 2 subtracting, what's the opposite? To add. So c divided by 7 equals 4 plus 2. You could do that, so that will give you 6. 7 is dividing, so the opposite would be to multiply. So 6 times 7 will give us our final solution, and that's how you solve this. Number 5. 8y minus 5 equals 3 times, remember that means multiplication guys, 2 minus y. So believe it or not, we have to distribute that 3 times whatever is inside of the parentheses. So 8y minus 5, leave it alone. What's 3 times 2? 6. What's 3 times negative y? Well, negative 3y. Now we have variables on both sides, we have numbers on both sides. Choose a side, and choose a side where there will be positive. It's subtracting, so the opposite would be to add, and that would be easier. So it's, instead of subtracting, we add them up. So 8y plus 3y, that will give us 11y minus 5 equals 6. The 5 subtracting, so the opposite would be to add on the other opposite side. So 11y equals 211. The 11 is multiplying, so the opposite would be to divide. What's 11 divided by 11? 1. So there you go. Your answer is equal to 1. One more. So we have 3.7 times z minus 4.2 is equivalent to 1.2 times 2x plus 3. So again, we have to distribute that 1.2. The left side, leave it alone for the moment. There's really nothing you could do at it. So what's 0.2 times 2? Well, on the side, on the calculator, however you need to. So that would give you 2.4. 2.4 of an x. And what's 1.2 times 3? Well, do it on the side to show your work if you have to. So that would, the one decimal, we move it over, and that will give us 3.6. So now what do? Pick a side. I will bring the 2.4 over here. Remember, it's adding, so the opposite we subtract. So we go ahead and do that. So that would give us 1.3z minus 4.2 is equivalent to 3.6. It's subtracting, so the opposite would be to add, and that's how you move it to the other side. So 1.3z, it's equal to 7.8. 1.3 is multiplying, so the opposite would be to divide. So 7.8 divided by 1.3. Your answer looks weird if you leave it like that, so literally go ahead and divide. So when we divide, remember, you move it over once, you move it over once. So 13 into 78, I don't know, let's try 6, maybe 6 times 3, 18, 6 times 1, 6, exactly, so your answer would be 6. So Z is equal to 6. That's how you solve them, guys. Next set of problems. So number 7, here, you don't have to solve for the variable, you just have to come up with a mini expression of converting that word problem into an equation, into an expression. Look at it. So if you could read, it says 3/4 times a number. You're like, what? Literally. So you have to write 3/4 times a number. That's it. 3/4 of x. 3/4 times x. It doesn't say equal anything. There's nothing to solve. That's all you have to do in that problem. Number 8, we have 7 less than twice a number. With the word less than, we have to be really careful because it's not just going to be, oh, 7 minus something. No, guys. The less than, it's the opposite. The minus 7 would be on the right side, or, well, after. We first have to write twice a number. So 2x minus 7. What's that? That's it. That's the answer. There's nothing else to do. You just write 2x minus 7. It doesn't say equal anything or anything else. Just leave it alone. Number 9, the sum of a number and 6. The sum of a number and 6. So x plus 6. What else you want to do? Leave it alone. That's how you come up with those expressions. Yes, don't overthink them. Don't make them too complicated, guys. That's all you have to do. 10, mini word problem that we have to apply what we just learned, but this time we actually have to solve it. So number 10, let's read it carefully. It says, it costs 3 times as much to build a table as it does to build a chair. If the total cost of building one table and one chair is $140, how much does it cost to build each? So analyze what two variables are you comparing? We're comparing a table and we're also comparing a chair. So believe it or not, classify, label. What do we know about the table? That it costs what? 3 times as much. Table is 3 times as much as the chair. So 3 times x. How much does it cost to build a chair? X amount of dollars. They're giving you the same variable to compare. The table, 3 times a chair, and a chair is just X amount of dollars. The total cost of building one table and a chair, so both of them combined, a table and a chair, it's equal to $140. But that looks weird. Don't write it like that. Write what? 3x, because that's your table, plus x, which represents your chair, should equal to 140. And believe it or not, you came up with an equation that will help us solve that word problem. Yes, you did it. Why? Because it's the same thing we did on the first 6 problems. What's 3x plus x? 4x. 4x equals 140. What's a 4 doing? Multiplying. So what's the opposite? Divide. And you go ahead and do that. So 140 divided by 4, 3, 12, remainder 20, and so on. So that would give us exactly 35. So x is equal to 35 or $35. What does x represent? The chair. That's the price of building a chair. They want to know both. How much does it cost as well to build a table? Well, 3 times that amount. We could multiply. So we multiply 35 times 3. That will give us our missing answer. Another method, maybe some of you are thinking, well, if everything's at 140 and if I subtract the 35 of the chair, yes, you're totally right. That would be another method to come up with the price of building the table and the price of building a chair. So good job. More word problems. Let's continue to number 11. Here, they give you the equation, but let's read it. The profit, P is your variable, from selling stereos is given by this equation, by that formula. Profit is equal to 276 times X, which represents the number of stereos sold, minus $716. Fixed cost, rent, whatever it is, wages, etc. So the goal here is how many stereos should we sell to obtain a profit of $3,700? So let's first look at the formula. So P equals 276, 276 times X minus 716. And our goal is to get a profit of $3,700. What's missing is how many stereos. We don't know. Can we plug in and substitute the P? Yes, you can. So 3,700 is equal to 276 times X minus 716. And this is our goal, to come up with what's the X value. What's the 716 doing? Subtracting. So what's the opposite? You go ahead and add. Yes, totally right. And that way it cancels from there. So that would give us 4,416 is equal to 276 times X. What's the 276 doing? Multiplying. So what's the opposite? Yes, you're totally right. You divide. See, your variable could be on the right or the left side. Who cares? Just leave it alone. So what's the answer? I don't know. We gotta divide 4,416 divided by 276. Ones for sure. So we borrow 11 minus 6, 5. We borrow 13 minus 7, 6. 3 minus 2, 1. We'll bring down the next number, 276 and 1,600. I'm going to say probably 7, which might pass, so let's try 6. 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 7, 42 plus 3, 45. 6 times 2, 12 plus 4, exactly 16. So how many cereals must be sold? 16. X equals 16 to obtain the profit we were looking for. See, guys, don't be afraid of your word problems. One more, guys. Number 12. Number 12, it shows adult tickets to the museum cost $4, while student tickets cost $3. If 105 tickets were sold for a total of $380, how many of each were sold? Okay, so here you have adults and we have students. Adults, we just know they cost $4, all right? Student tickets, we just know they cost $3. But they didn't tell you I sold 3 times more adult tickets than students or anything. So here, just make up a variable. What variable do you want to give for adults? X. What variable do you want to give for students? Y. They're going to be 2 different variables because they're not giving you something to compare like we did on problem number 10. So here, I'm going to show you we have 2 equations. 105 is the total number of tickets that were sold. What tickets? X amount of adults plus Y amount of the students should equal to 105. You have another equation. $380 was how much money was generated from the tickets that were sold. Which tickets? The adults. We know the price, so 4 times X plus 3 times Y should equal to 380. So you come up with your equations. You're almost there, guys. That's a hard part. This is the hard part here. The easy part would be solving it. How do you solve it? We write the first equation. I think this would be the easiest method. Can we move the Y to the other side? Yeah. X equals 105 minus Y. So adult tickets is equal to 105 minus the student tickets. Why do you want to do that? So you could substitute the X in the other equation, and that way we just work with Y's. Let me show you in slow motion. So we're going to substitute the X. 4 times 105 minus Y plus 3Y should equal to 380. There you go, guys. You did it. You solved it. Well, that's not the answer. I know, but let's do it. What's 4 times 105? 420. What's 4 times Y? Negative 4Y plus 3Y should equal to 380. What's negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1Y. What's a 420 doing? Adding. So what's the opposite? Subtract. So negative 1Y, it's equal to that. That's hard to do, so you do it oppositely. If you're going to do it by hand, you still subtract, and then we'll do the trick right now. So the answer is 40 so far. It's negative, it's bigger. So negative 1Y is equals negative 40. You could divide by negative 1 if you want to get rid of that sign. So y equals negative 40 divided by negative 1, which magically will become positive. Y represents your adults, which was 40 tickets. Students, well, we don't know, but remember, you could substitute it in whichever equation. This one would be the easiest, right here. So if we know that 105 tickets were sold, then we take away 40, the difference will give us the student tickets. And now we are able to solve for both. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Let me show you the next part, the next video.